Alright, hey guys, Merbo's TCG, and I'm here to bring you a December 2021 deck profile for Infernoids. And yeah, let's just get started. So I'm gonna go through the main deck first, as usual. So we got three Decatrons. You need to have it if you're an Infernoid player. You know you're gonna run three of it. It's gotten cheaper too recently since it's gotten reprinted. But yeah, it's just a must-have at three. It serves as removal. It serves as you can make it into a spell or trap negate, a monster negate, and it's your only normal summon in your deck. So it's your main thing to go to for reasoning and monster negate. It's just an obvious three of. So here I run one Entra since I don't need to bounce too much, and it doesn't like give me as many synchro plays as I used to since I don't really synchro as much as I used to with like my older builds. And I found that one just works really well, especially since it can't be used in the grave. So it's only if you draw it that you can summon it. Harmadic, it's still a really good level, and it's a monster destruction. It's a really good Infernoid. It's come in clutch a lot, and it's allowed me to do a lot of plays when I have Decatron with it. And then Patrulia is spell and trap destruction. You don't really need it as much. I think it's perfect as a one of. You can try running two, but I think one is perfect the way it is, since I needed the space for other cards. But yeah, one seems to work for me. Here, one's a jet. So jet isn't that good. When it declares an attack, it lets your opponent choose what card to banish. You don't really use it for that effect. You're just using it for Void Feast. Since with him, you can go Jet, two Decatrons, and then with those two Decatrons, you can go Anuncio de Viati, have a monster and spell trap negate. Scythimus, it's an amazing Infernoid. Good to have a two of. I also have a card that works with it in the extra deck. But yeah, when it attacks a monster at the end of the battle phase, it can banish a card, which is really nice to have. And it's come in handy a lot. But yeah, Scythimus is definitely, and it's one of your big ones, so you're obviously going to have it at two. Atandel, it's a one of. He's really good, can attack twice. Not as good as Scythimus, but he's come in handy, and you usually can dig into him, so you don't really need to run more than one. But yeah, to the Viati. The Viati is your monster negate. It's also a heavy storm. It's really good. You're going to need it for Void Imagination. But you also need it for Void Feast since you're going to be pitching them a lot. So yeah, running two. Maybe you could even try running three depending on how your deck runs and how centered you're around Imagination. But yeah, and then with that, the two Anunsu is definitely good to have. Let me see if I can. I'll just put two Anunsu over here. But yeah, two Anunsu. It's your Dark Hole and it's your spell and trap negate. Same reason as Deviati. You're gonna want it at two. And then these are the non-Infernoid monsters that I have. So two Lava Golem. I think this is perfect to run. Lava Golem can't be normal summoned, so he doesn't interrupt with Reasoning or with Monster Gate, and he serves as a double Kaiju removal, which is really nice to have and super handy. I definitely like having it at two, and I like whenever I have it. And then I have three Gammas. So Gamma is your monster negate and a destruction, and it can't be normal summoned, so it doesn't fill up. It doesn't accidentally get summoned through Reasoning or through Monster Gate. So you never have to worry about that. And of course, with that, you have to run Driver, which sucks because Driver does get to be normal summoned. But the nice thing about him is that he is a normal monster, so he doesn't count towards the level count for the Infernoids, which is really nice, and it's come in handy a lot. But yeah, now move on to the spells. Okay, guys, so for the spells, I'm going to start with three Void Vanishment. So Void Vanishment is an amazing Void card. This card lets you get into all your other Void cards. Definitely a three of is necessary. And you can occasionally use it to banish cards that you can't deal with that are battling your Infernoids. And then definitely three Void Imagination. Void Imagination is what's the Shadal Fusion? It's your Shadal Fusion. It just lets you, if your opponent controls a monster that's from the extra deck, then you get to unfairly get your own monster and fill up your grave. It's just a really nice card to have, and it's a card your opponents are pretty much fearful of, and they kind of keep in mind when they're summoning if they're aware of Infernoids. But yeah, definitely a 3 of if that's a play you need to go to. And Banishment searches it out, which is really great. So 3 Layer of Darkness. So Layer of Darkness is, you know, you're going to want to use this card to tribute your opponent's cards. I don't draw it often, but when I do, it does come in handy a lot. I'm thinking about putting back the terraforming I had before, just so I can have it more often. It's a really good card that that it works really well with all the Infernoids. So definitely a 3 of for me. 3 monster gates. You can just tribute your monsters and continue tributing them if you have more monster gates, since it's not once per turn, and then do that and then just keep on filling up your grave. But if you have Lair of Darkness out, you can just use Monster Gate to tribute their monsters, and you just get more and more value out of it. It's a really good card to have a 3 of. And then 3, Pot of Extravagance. So I recently, as you can see with the 2 gold, it's gotten reprinted, so I've actually been able to buy the other Pot of Extravagance and remove some cards for it. And it works amazing. It's exactly what I expected. You draw a lot, and you're just banishing cards in the extra deck that you don't need for the most part, unless you get unlucky. But yeah, it's a really good card to have, and I'm glad to have it at 3. And I'm sure all you guys that have Infernoids probably have it at 3 now. 1 of Raigeki, monster removal that comes in clutch. And you never know if you're not able to. There are like multiple ways to stop Infernoids. So Raigeki is a good bait to either, if they have a Sword of Negate, then you can bait that. Or you can just use it as clear monster removal. It's a really good card. Definitely have 1 of. Reasoning is also, it's like Monster Gate. Not as good. They get to declare, so if they know anything about Infernoids, they're going to just declare 1. But it's still a really good card for filling up your grave. And occasionally you might get Cypher and Driver, and that's a free monster. And then 1 for 1, it's a way to get into your Decatron. I know a lot of people don't run it as much anymore, but I still really like having 1 for 1. And then for the 1 trap that I have in my deck, the Void Feast. Void Feast, really good card. I like drawing it first turn because you can just set up a spell trap negate and a monster negate through the Decatrons, and then have a pretty good board. And especially if you have Lair of Darkness your first turn, then you can just tribute your opponent's cards to use your effects. But yeah, this is my main deck. Now I'm going to go to the extra deck. Okay guys, so for the extra deck, I'm going to start with Gravity Controller. So Gravity Controller is just your way to get rid of Tierra in case they stop or they negate your Tierra's effect and you're not able to set the other entity nest to destroy it. You have Gravity Controller just as a way to remove it. It's a link 1, so it's really good for that. Similar, Link Haribo, if they negate your Decatron and you want to get it off the board, then you can just use Link Haribo, get it off the board. Since they don't have levels, they don't count towards anything. Then I have Barricade Borg Blocker, just a way to search out Lair of Darkness. I like never summoned this, but well, I summoned it like twice, but it's a card that I'm running at the moment, but I can totally see it removing it later. And then I have Doolittle Chimera and Wee Wee Apprentice. So these cards they're just a way to finish it. They're good cards that I go into just to finish people off more. If you have Lair of Darkness out, it makes all monsters dark, so you can only go into Wii instead of Doolittle Chimera. But it's just a good card to have. Yeah, and then right now I have Deco Talker, never summon it. If you guys have any suggestions for the extra deck, let me know. This is one I really want to change. But I don't really know what to change. But I do want to get rid of Deco Talker, and I could see myself getting rid of Barricade Board Blocker. I just need ideas. But yeah, Crusade Aquamax, it's gonna be, if you ever summon this out, you're gonna win with this, because you can just tribute it after you attack with it and just go for game. It's a really good card. It's definitely one to run if you're running Infernoids. 2 Tierras. So Tierra, this is your Void Imagination target. It's really good to have 2 of, just in case you banish it with Pot of Extravagance. I could even see myself running 3 if I get rid of the Deco Talker, which is totally possible, and I might end up doing that now that I think about it. But yeah, it's targets, other entity nest, pop 3 cards. I'm also thinking of running the Fossil Warrior, I think is his name, just because or Fossil Warrior or Igniter, just so you have more plays in case you ditch them into the grave. They're really good cards, so I'm considering those. But if you guys have any other suggestions, let me know. Synchros, Scarlet, Red Dragon, Archwing. Another one I'll probably change, but it's been a classic in my deck for such a long time that I just managed to keep it here. Cypher and Lord Omega. This card used to be your go-to summon every time with Infernoids, but recently you just don't have to. It's unnecessary, but when it's out, it's pretty nice to have. And then right now, Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. Really good card that lets you burn your opponent. You go with Sightsmiths. I usually find myself where I can, if you can't finish your opponent, if you can attack with Sightsmiths enough and then exceed them to get the Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, that's usually enough to stop them from playing the game. But yeah, that's pretty much my main deck and extra deck. And then here are my Lair of Darkness tokens in case you guys want to see them. But yeah. If you guys enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. What does your deck have? Any changes you would suggest? Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.